There are roughly 5 more days to the end of the 2015 sugarcane crop season. Generally, it has been a great season, despite a late start due to differences between farmers and the miller. But at roughly 7 days of milling, BSI is boasting the best season in the history of the industry, breaking records in sugar production and quality of cane. BSI's financial director, Caballo, told us more.
I say we will be milling close to 1.15 million tons of cane and producing close to 137,000 tons of sugar. That will be a record production. Before this, the record was 125,000 tons of sugar in any one crop, and over a longer period of crop. This crop for 23 weeks, having done 137,000 tons, will be a record. And it is a combination of good quality cane, inherently good quality cane. The pollen cane has been a record high, combined with excellent factory efficiency in terms of extraction, in terms of time efficiencies. The factory has performed extremely well, and that combined with very good cane quality throughout the crop has resulted in this new record tons cane to tons sugar ratio, which we estimate to be close to perhaps 8.3 to maybe 8.35 tons cane to tons sugar. The previous record was 8.67. Last year it was more 9.66. So it is a record in terms of tons cane to tons sugar. And so in that respect, it has been a very good crop in terms of the new records that we have set.
And while by large it has been the best crop season in 18 years, some farmers are asking for the season to be extended by 1 week, as they will remain with a large quantity of mature cane.
Downside is really the fact that we are coming to the end of the crop, and there is still cane that is available for harvest, and that is one of the sort of difficult points that we had to discuss as part of agreeing an end of crop date. Because amongst everything that needs to be considered as factors that are normally considered to determine the end of crop date, cane availability is one. And in this year, previous years that has not been a big factor to consider, but this year it is. So unfortunately, the delay has resulted in this position that we are now approaching the end of the crop, and we still have cane left. How much cane will be left over is yet to be determined based on the last survey that was done by CIRDE, which estimated 1.29 million tons of cane out there. We will be going to next week, and we estimate that the cane that will be milled will be close to 1.15, which would mean that there will be close to 140 to 150,000 tons of cane that will be left standing. No, not all that cane is lost, because that cane, depending on the level of the age of that cane, the cane will still be available for next crop, but it would not be harvested this crop. So it's not a complete loss. No? It is a cane that will be obviously perhaps lose some of its maturity or lose some of its quality, and it all depends on the age of the cane. There will be some canes that will be stood over that will have no effect if we harvest it in December when the crop starts again. But depending on the age of the cane, the loss will be then determined by that.
Caballo says the only factor that will prevent this from reoccurring is to ensure the crop season cycle starts on time. That is December and end by mid-June.
Well, what needs to be clear is that this situation that we find ourselves in this crop is only due to the fact that we started late. Okay. So if we don't start late, if we start in December, early December, we go into May, if there's more cane, at that point there's always flexibility in terms of the weather to be able to extend. Currently we are already into July, and so the flexibility to extend is really limited. The weather has changed, and the other factors that need to be considered are now playing a factor, now are playing a consideration into determining the end of crop. So what will address this situation going forward is really for the crop to start on time.
There are some industry stakeholders that have suggested the factory needs to expand in order for more cane to be harvested during the season. Caballo says expansion at the factory will only attend to the matter partially, and nonetheless, the company will be addressing some of it during the off-season.
But expansion requires investments, and clearly investments will have to be made on the basis of feasibility, on the basis of whether we have a strategic development plan, on the basis of commitment of all the stakeholders to that strategic development plan. So indeed, there is already discussions about possible expansion. We want to, the ambition to expand is still there, and clearly that is going to be discussed and perhaps formed up in the context of discussions on the strategic development plan.
Until this morning at 6 a.m., farmers had delivered a total of 1,188,864 tons of cane, and BSI had produced 134,730 tons of sugar. Tons of cane per ton of sugar is at 8.23. Caballo told us the estimate second payment for farmers is at $66.69 per ton of cane.